knows best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Monday. I officially have my first write-ins. Thank you guys so much. I had quite a few. I had one voice memo, but I'm going to play that for Friday's episode. And the ones I don't speak on right now are also going to be in last Friday's episode. Some of them just weren't long enough, but definitely I want to touch on them because I think it's like wonderful learning tips. I'll throw that in last Friday's episode. So if you didn't listen to that, go listen. But there are two that I'm going to go through. Let's just get started. Am I, 27 female, the asshole for trying to tell my husband, 30 male, that something makes me uncomfortable? First of all, no. Are you an asshole for telling your husband that something makes you uncomfortable? Already, no, you're not the asshole. But let's keep going. My husband and I have been together for 7 years, married for 5. I have been the yes man in our relationship for years, but recently, thanks to your podcast, I've been trying to voice things that make me uncomfortable, hurt my feelings, or I just don't like. Okay, we're going to start out strong. I love that. And I already have thoughts on this, but Brenna, you really need to read these and then go over your thoughts. I never spoke up before because I didn't want to start an argument because it always ended in an argument. Lately, I've been trying to follow the let them theory as well, but I'm bad at it. Okay, I love that. Here is just like a quick little learning note for the other girlies. I'm not talking to you who wrote this in. Being the yes man, I was this to my core, and I still battle this. Like, I was raised, as a lot of women are, to not be a problem and not say this and not do that and make sure every other person is comfortable except for you. Not except for you, but then you come last. And especially in a relationship, we've all been there. A lot of you are probably listening to this and you've been in a relationship like that, or you already are in one where in the early dating stages, you didn't speak up, you didn't say your opinions, you didn't talk about your feelings because either your partner gave you a sign that they would start an argument or you were just scared. And I'm telling any girl that's like single and dating right now, do your best to voice the opinions. I understand it's so hard. It's still something that I work on, but as we're going to see in this story, I'm sure, is like you can obviously at any point decide not to do that. But if you started dating, like they're 7 years in this relationship and now she's speaking up, it's just like a harder angle to come at. Where if in the beginning when you were dating, you could speak up for yourself and then, whether that weeds out the guys that aren't right for you or just like so your partner knows that you have an opinion and you will speak up. And it just sets a better foundation. You know what I mean? Again, the girlie that wrote this in, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not trying. Every girl has either been in this relationship or there are married women now that are like that. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, Carter's mom, like, always asks me every time I see her, every time I'm on the phone, she's like, you voice your opinions, right? Like, you speak up because Carter is very much like he decides things and he has an opinion and he's not afraid to like let you know this, that, or the other. And I'm like, yes. I speak up. Like, we're just so on the same page, but she's always checking in because she has so many friends that she knows, like, married couples with multiple kids. And some of her girlfriends have gotten in bad situations because they never spoke up. And then the man is just running the fucking household and you're never allowed to like bring up your feelings and whatnot. The sooner you can do that, the better. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's keep going. Anyway, about a year ago, he got in my face, and although it wasn't violent, it felt very aggressive. I told him it made me uncomfortable, and he got mad at me and ignored me for 3 days. Oh my gosh, okay, this was a year ago. Flash forward to this weekend. On Saturday, I was watering the flowers, and he got in my face again. He was just asking a question, but being in my face made me uncomfortable. I told him it made me uncomfortable and made me think of when my mom and my teachers would scream in my face when I was younger. He backed up, but the very next day on Sunday, I was making dinner and he got in my face again. I said it gives me anxiety and he got closer and said, "Why?" No, I don't like that one. I don't like any of this. I don't like the fact that you've told him that once and he's still doing it, but he gets closer in your face. That's like such little boy shit. Okay, sorry. I said it sets off my fight or flight and I just want to run away. I put my hand on his chest to make him stop getting closer and he backed me against a wall and said, "Why does it make you uncomfortable?" Okay, this is getting a little scary, girlfriend. I told him about my past again and how it just gives me anxiety, and I asked him to stop. He said, "Did you ever tell your mom about how it makes you feel?" And I said, "No, because that was the past and she doesn't do it anymore. Plus, we have a great relationship now." And what a fucking odd thing to ask. I digress. He went and sat in the living room while I finished up dinner. I brought him his food and he covered his eyes with his hands and said, "Oh, I can't look at you. Am I giving you anxiety?" Oh my fucking God. This is a grown man child. Ew. I hate this, which again, this is your husband. Obviously, I'm not going to like jump to divorce because I think there is teaching involved in learning, but let's keep going. He said, "Oh, I can't look at you. Am I giving you anxiety?" I told him no, I just didn't want him in my face. He then said, "I'm probably too close to you sitting on the couch." And then he moved to the kitchen to eat dinner. I told him to stop being dramatic and said again that I just didn't want him in my face. He said, "I'm being dramatic? You're being dramatic. And why are you now just bringing this up? You've literally never said anything about it before." I told him I've said it at least 3 times before, and he continued his "I'm giving you anxiety" or "get away from me, you're too close" comments for the rest of the night. When we went to bed, he said, "Well, now I don't even know if I can lay next to you. I don't want to be too close." Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Obviously, I would never hit somebody or, physically abuse anybody, especially my partner, but I would slap the shit out of this man. I guess that's not conducive to what I just said, but holy shit. So, am I the asshole for not wanting him to be in my face, or did I handle the situation correctly? Thank you for everything you do. Okay, no. If something, whatever the thing is, makes you uncomfortable, you voice that to your partner. And this is the part that's going to hurt to hear, which, if you listen to this podcast, you know how I feel about this. The fact that he is then the dramatics, and also the fact that you told him one time that you don't like him in your face and he did it again, that to me is very problemsome that you told him something bothers you or makes you uncomfortable and he chose to do it again. And then like that time when you told him to stop and he came closer, those are all like very big red flags to me. Number one, he doesn't respect you. Number two, like care about your feelings at all. There's so many things wrong with that. How I would navigate, which obviously and I hope that this is validating you, you are not in the wrong at all, no matter what the thing is. And here is another thing. We are humans, we are constantly evolving. If your partner, let's say he got in your face all 7 years of your relationship and it never bothered you, and then one day it started bothering you, that is still bothersome to you, and you speak up. So him saying that you've never said it before when you've said it before is one thing. It's wrong. But number two, even if there was something that you guys were doing and then one day you decided that you didn't like it, it gives you anxiety, whatever, that is still correct. You are still allowed to have those feelings and voice those to your partner, and he should respect those. So like regardless of anything, the fact that you're coming to your husband and saying that, I would in this scenario sit down and like this needs to be a conversation. You shouldn't have to rehash why you don't like that specific thing and why it gives you anxiety and why it upsets you, but you might have to with this man who acts like a child. And then I would turn that conversation into how we respect each other. When I say that something is bothersome or gives me anxiety or whatever it is, you as my partner, as my husband, as the love of my life, I would love for you to respect that. And I think like, I don't know how this conversation evolves because obviously two people in a conversation, I'm not there. I don't know what he's going to react to that or what you're going to say, but it's a bigger conversation than just the thing. But I would, number one, obviously start with the whole in your face thing. Why would anybody want somebody in their face? Like, would he like that if you came up in his grill and talked to him like that? No, I have a hard time believing anybody would. But obviously, this is your husband. And to his favor, as far as like the yes man thing, because you did kind of go with the flow, not in this circumstance, but it is a hard thing to navigate. And this is also like, if you're a girl out there and like I just talked about, if there's something that you allowed for so long, but then one day you don't like it anymore, you just never voiced it, you're always allowed to voice it. But you do have to understand that your husband is used to you just like being chill with everything and not speaking up. And not to say that it's right or anything, but I'm just saying to understand his side of the coin, which he should still be a mature and respectful fucking husband. Like, I still think his behavior is wildly wrong. But it is going to take a little bit more teaching. And like, of course, no, I'm not saying to sit and nag and tell him every which little thing, but the big things, the things that bother you, the things that are important to you, yeah, speak about them. And also, these things don't look like one conversation, they look like multiple conversations. Sometimes we need to reiterate, sometimes we need to have the conversation from different angles. When Carter and I have conversations about big, important topics to us, we have multiple conversations. I will say Carter is really good in the way he's very emotionally mature and he never raises his voice or like mocks or does any of that. So I have a hard time understanding that being how you're spoken to. I imagine it makes it 10 times harder. But if he does give pushback, again, then, work that into tomorrow's conversation. Like if he's being dramatic again and kind of like making fun of you and whatever, you can shut down the conversation and then rehab it tomorrow or whatever that looks like for you. But he has to understand. And I think if you come from a place of love, like if you start that conversation and say, babe, I love you, I have no problems. Our relationship is great. Like, I love our marriage, yada, yada. But like, this one specific thing really makes me uncomfortable. And I would just prefer if you didn't do, like, please don't do that. And that should be the end of it. But that's my suggestion. You can come back to me, message me on Instagram, and we can further discuss after the conversation. But you are not in the wrong at all. And his behavior is like little boyish. I think he just can't handle the criticism when it's like not even, it doesn't even need to be that big of a deal. If he would have just listened the first time when you told him to not get in your face, it could have never happened again. He wouldn't get in your face and it wouldn't even be a thing. Like he's the one who's making it this big ordeal. You know what I'm saying? Okay, next. Now we have a little family best friend wedding drama. Let's begin. This is another write-in. My fiance and I have been together since we were 15 and we're now almost 27. We're getting married next year. My cousin slash best friend, 27 female, has always had a grudge against my fiance because when he and I started dating, I began to spend a lot of time with him, thus taking away time from her. We lived 2 hours away, so we didn't see each other often to begin with, but we talked regularly. Alas, as a 15-year-old girl in a new relationship, I spent a lot of time with him and she didn't love this. Right out the gate, number one, you guys were 15 years old. You both were 15 years old. You all were 15 years old. I'm sorry. Which, like, for a 15-year-old is a natural reaction because she's feeling pushed to the side. But, like, what? The fact that we're talking about this right now, and I know that the story goes deeper, is crazy. You're now 27 years old. You are still with said partner. She is still holding a grudge because when you were a child and you started seeing your partner, who is like literally your life partner, it took time away from her. And I know this is like super controversial. I see this take on TikTok all the time when, let's say, you're friends in adulthood, it's not your cousin, you're grown ass adults, and girls get upset when their friends start seeing a guy and spend more time with them. And it's one thing to completely neglect and never see that person again and never reach out. That is not okay. But naturally, if you start dating somebody and you're excited, like that's gonna happen. Like I'm under the belief system, if one of my besties is single and she starts dating a guy and kind of falls off for a little while, that's okay. I get it. I get it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you need to, unless she like completely forgets who you are. But even still, it's like we're busy, we're adults, we have lives, we go to work. I'm too old to be getting upset about things like that. Okay, sorry, let's keep going. Fast forward to last summer. My fiance and I were asked to dog sit for 2 weeks while a family member of mine went out of town. My cousin then asked me to join her and her parents on a weekend away, and initially I agreed, not realizing that it was the weekend that overlapped with us dog sitting. Originally, my fiance told me to go with her and have fun, and he would stay with the dog for the weekend. He was then told that he's on call to to have to go into work on the weekend, potentially being gone for 10 to 12 hours a day, leaving him unable to guarantee he'd be home with the dog. She was just a puppy at the time and needed to go outside every couple of hours. I had to tell my cousin that I wouldn't be able to go on this weekend trip with them. She was very upset about this, and ever since, our relationship has been different. She never brought this up in a conversation with me, but we just kind of stopped talking as much since that happened. We haven't spoken on the phone regularly since before this happened, and our texting conversations are fewer and farther between. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I got a letter in the mail from her explaining that she believes I lied about not being able to go on this weekend away with them last summer so I could spend more time with my fiance, even though I see him every day. A year later. A year later, she writes you a letter in the mail about a weekend trip. Why doesn't she plan something with you? Why don't you guys go on a trip? Why don't you go and see her? Why doesn't she just say, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Obligations, I get it. No biggie. Let's hang out in a couple of weekends." I'm sorry, she's crazy. A letter in the mail and also accusing you of lying? That's bold. Not only did she say that she believes I lied, but also she let me know in this letter that she would not stand up in my wedding because of this. I can It sounds like she did not grow up from the age of 15. It sounds like she is still in her 15-year-old brain. I haven't yet asked anyone to stand up in my wedding, but I know that I wanted her to be in my bridal party, and she knew that as well. I know that she doesn't love my fiance, but I was hoping that she would at least be willing to stand up on my side and support me. Also in the letter, she included that she thinks it's ridiculous that she can come home for a week and never be able to see me because I spend every day with my fiance, when in reality, I'm a doctoral student who, for the past 3 years, has either been a full-time graduate student in classes or on clinical rotations full time. She is a nurse and is able to schedule her days off where she typically comes home during the week when flights are cheaper. This equates to her being home when I'm in class or on clinicals, genuinely having nothing to do with me, preferring to spend time with my fiance. I'm baffled at this entire situation. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the end of it. I love the juice. She needs to grow up, really, and I feel bad. And like, I want you guys to have a good relationship. That's your cousin and your best friend. I think there just needs to be like a come to Jesus meeting. I think you need to sit down with her. And I think that even if your fiance was the worst man in the world, which I can't imagine that he is, and she hated him, it is still one thing to be a best friend and be a cousin and support you regardless. Like, that's crazy. And also, this grudge started when you were 15. And also, like, I talk to my best friend Natalie about this all the time. We prefer to be with our fiancés. That's why they are the love of your life. That's why, and that's like in a situation where you're not a doctoral student. Like, I'm not a doctoral student. I have all the time in the world, and I'm still really bad at sometimes not making time for my friends, but just like leaving my house in general. That's crazy. She can have a grown up conversation with you. The letter is a little bit crazy to me in 2025 that we're writing. No offense. I think you just need to reach out to her, and I think you guys need to have like an in person conversation and just be like, I love you. Obviously, this person is important to you, but explain that number one, he is your fiance. He's always going to be your husband. Hello, you guys are getting married. And if she literally, for whatever fucking weird reason, she sounds just like lonely and bitter. And like, that's what it's giving. There's like no way that she can know you're a doctoral student who's like in class or on these clinical rotations and just like living a life as a 27 fucking year old adult. And it's like, like, you spend no time with me. And also, it shows that she had been ruminating over last summer all year long. Like, this is almost a year later. She clearly has like some of her own issues, which is sad. And you should be there as a friend. But if she's like pushing you away and like putting this off on you and like you're her punching bag, you guys need to work through that. So, like, you need to just sit down. And I wouldn't accuse her. Again, like, I wouldn't say what I'm saying to her. I would just be like, I, number one, really wanted you to be in my wedding. I would love to like get our relationship back on track. Like if we need to every other month do a weekend or like a day brunch or something, let's pencil that in. Let's look at our calendars right now. And like you do a good job of seeing her as well. Like sometimes in the past, I've been really bad about like sticking to my plans, but make it a note. Like if this person is important to you, then you will do that. But she definitely has her own issues going on, which makes me sad for her. But then setting these like boundaries and talking to her and setting up the dates, like you guys can get that relationship back. I think she must just be like really down and really upset. And you guys just need to have a come to Jesus meeting. Those are my final thoughts. Okay, next. Now let's get into the Reddit stories. Thank you to everybody that wrote in. I hope that we keep that ball rolling. I had quite a few. I was really excited. I honestly forgot about it and it didn't send me a notification. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have responses. Okay, let's get into the next story. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I told you so and laughing at him? No. I don't need to finish the sentence. No, you're not the asshole. Okay, sorry. I'm just kidding. Let's keep going. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I told you so and laughing at him when we got the paternity test results? I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 28 male, for 2 years and gave birth to our daughter 5 weeks ago. I'll try to keep this short so I don't waste your time with any irrelevant details. What happened was that our daughter came out with blonde hair and pale blue eyes, while my husband and I both have brown hair and brown eyes. Do we not understand how genetics work? I already know where this is going. My husband freaked out at this and refused to listen to my explanation that sometimes babies are born with lighter hair and eyes that get darker over time. He demanded a paternity test and threatened to divorce me if I didn't comply. So I did. Holy fuck. That is a crazy jump. After my daughter and I got home from the hospital, my husband went to stay at his parents' house for the first 3 weeks to get some space from me. After you gave birth. What? After you just gave birth to his child? 3 weeks? He ran home to mom and dad? I'm so fucking sorry. What? While he was there, he told them what was happening. My mother-in-law called and informed me that if the paternity test revealed that the child wasn't his, she would do anything within her power to make sure that I was taken to the cleaners during the divorce. I had my sister to lean on and help me take care of the baby during this. I'm so fucking sorry. What are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? We got the results back yesterday and my husband came home to view them with me. I was on the couch in the living room, so he sat next to me and we started to read the results. They showed that he was the father, and my husband had this shocked, kind of mortified look on his face with his eyes wide as he stared at it. I couldn't help but say, "I told you so," and started laughing at the way he looked. Good, because what the fuck? Oh my gosh. My husband snapped out of his shock and got mad at me for laughing at him. We argued for a bit, which was mainly him yelling at me, before my sister came downstairs and my husband shut up. Your husband is a fucking asshole. And what? I'm sorry. He decided in his mind, for whatever reason, he doesn't know how genetics work, that you had an affair and this child wasn't his. Like, he literally fully believed that. Like, he convinced himself that that happened without even talking to you, leaving you fucking high and dry for 3 weeks immediately postpartum while he goes to stay at his parents instead of, number one, just waiting and like talking to your wife. I'm sorry, you married a fucking loser. After that, my husband went back to his parents' house to clear his head. And 2 to 3 hours later, my mother-in-law called again to scold me about laughing in my husband's face because apparently it was kicking him while he was down. Shut the fuck up. Actually, the mother-in-law, Oh my gosh. Your mommy is calling your wife to think that it was mean that you laughed at him. He is a grown man child. There are a lot of them out here, apparently. What are we actually talking about? If Carter ran home to his mom and dad and his mom called and said, "You hurt his feelings," I would literally laugh my ass off. I would quite literally laugh my fucking ass off. What? She's also left a couple nasty texts essentially saying the same thing this morning. I don't think I'm the asshole, but I'd like an outsider perspective. There's only one edit, and it says, "Since someone asked me in the comments, I have zero history of cheating. You need to divorce that man." And I know that I always say on here, I'm like, I'm not recommending divorce, but I honestly just like don't know how you'd come back from that. The fact that he literally saw that baby and immediately, which I could maybe understand if Carter and I, but also they're kids. Like, you guys, I used to have blonde fucking hair. Like, I was a blonde haired kid and now my hair is so dark. Like, I fear, and also like we all did that in science class where you do like the hereditary, like the traits, or what are those called? Where it's like, if this runs in your family, you know, your mom and your dad have this, like your kids have a fourth of this and that and the other. He needs a lesson. Maybe make him a PowerPoint presentation on genetics because number one, that was a crazy reaction to immediately jump to you having an affair and then him just leaving you high and dry with an immediate postpartum, literally day old baby for 3 weeks. I'm sorry. That is crazy behavior. And that is a man who I would never be able to trust. Like, how do you rely on a man who, number one, runs and hides at his mom and fucking dad's house as a late 20s year old man? Like, what are we even talking about? Wait, isn't that called a recessive gene? Isn't that what the recessive gene is like? Not there's like dominant and recessive. Oh, okay. I need a biology lesson, but I know more than him. My final thoughts are that this grown ass man had a tantrum, left you high and dry, ran to mommy and daddy. His mother is a fucking bitch. And it's so bizarre to me. There's like two kinds of parents. There are the parents that blindly trust everything their child tells them, and these are like the worst human beings. Like, they literally, whatever their even 7-year-old child said, they're like, nope, they said it, so it's true. There are those people who are the fucking worst. And then there's parents, that's gonna be me. When my child opens their big fat mouth, I'm gonna assume they're lying. I'm gonna assume they're in the wrong. If they come to me crying about a situation, I'm gonna say, what did you do? What did you say? Your husband is 28 years old and his mom's like, "Oh, little Jimmy needs my help. Let me fucking talk shit to his wife." He can't even speak to you. He's having his mother, like, there are so many problems with this. Obviously, she is not the asshole and she needs to divorce this man because honestly, how do you get past that? And I feel like naturally there's had to have been other instances with this mother in law because that's insane behavior. No offense. Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. Okay, next. Let me preface by saying I read the write ins from you guys because I had to vet them to make sure that I wanted to talk about them on the pod, obviously. But the Reddit ones I didn't. I just found gripping titles. And this one is, "My girlfriend told me that she was with a friend, but that friend was with me picking out an engagement ring. How do I confront my girlfriend about her lie? I, 28 male, am planning on proposing to my girlfriend of 3 years, 26 female. Now, I suck at picking out jewelry. I'm the type of guy that doesn't see a problem with heart-shaped jewelry." He put in parentheses, seriously, why is it considered so ugly? Oh my gosh. I'm dead because men do have a way, like any boyfriend you've ever had where they buy you jewelry, it's like the most heinous thing. That's hilarious that he knows that. Anywho, so every time I want to buy something for my girlfriend, I usually consult one of our mutual friends. My girlfriend's best friends are all friends with me as well, and we all get along well, so asking them for help picking out jewelry is something I'm used to doing. When it came to pick out an engagement ring, I consulted my girlfriend's best friend, Justine. Justine and I are quite close, and she knows my girlfriend better than anyone, including me. So when my girlfriend went out to visit her sister and baby nephew, I invited Justine over to the house to help pick out a ring. Justine and I looked through a few catalogs, but decided it was a dead end and it would be better to go to professionals at a jewelry store. However, I didn't know when my girlfriend would be coming home, so Justine and I thought of a clever text to gauge how much time we had. I texted her asking when she'd be coming home, and I told her that I was ordering takeout and wanted to know when to tell them to have the food ready by. She responded by saying it would be a few hours. She met up with Justine to go shopping. Now, obviously, this took me by surprise since Justine was standing inside my house. Oh, fuck. I showed Justine the text and she looked just as confused as I was. Oh, fuck. Oh, damn. Oh. Well, he seems like very wholesome and like very nice. So if this motherfucker's cheating on him, I feel bad. That's crazy though. It isn't out of the ordinary for my girlfriend to meet up with people out of the blue like that for shopping, lunch, etc. She's a very spontaneous person and loves making plans on the fly. So ordinarily, I would have believed that text in a heartbeat. However, obviously, this had to be a lie. Yeah. Is she doing that every time she's stepping out on you? Is she like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Justine's? Ooh. But he's like proposing. They've been together for 3 years. They live together. I don't know. Okay. When she came home, she acted completely normal and I played along, but it's been really hard to act like everything's fine. We got takeout, ate together, and cuddled on the couch after. So far, she's caught on a little that something's upsetting me, but I just can't tell her what. Looking at her kills me. I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I have zero trust issues and we tell each other everything. So this lie is killing me. I want to ask her about it so bad, but if I tell her I knew she was lying, I'd have to explain why, and I really don't want to have to do that. What do? I know she lied to me, but I don't know how to confront her about it. Should I just forget it? This won't stop gnawing at me. Oh my gosh, this is actually such a mind fuck because he would have to tell her, obviously, I'm like writing this out to you as if you don't know, that Justine was at their house and that's suspicious as fuck. So you have to tell her that you were looking at engagement rings and you're ruining the whole thing. How do you go about doing that? I would just like make up some other lie, which it's not good to combat a lie with a lie, but I would be like, yeah, Justine stopped by to, or like something that's believable. Like Justine couldn't get a hold of you, or like something that tells her she knew Justine wasn't with you. Or maybe just say like, I was looking at jewelry, not an engagement ring, but like I was thinking about getting you a necklace for yada yada, like our anniversary or a birthday or hopefully Valentine's Day, something's in the near future. And you can be like, I was talking to her, so you text me you were with her, but she wasn't with you. Yeah, but you have to say something. You cannot not know where your almost future fiance was when she lied to you. But you guys, there's an update. I decided to confront my girlfriend. I thought about using some of the lies people suggested. Oh, other people are suggesting lies too. But you have to like this is such a specific moment and then you can explain it after once you do get engaged, but you don't want to ruin the engagement if it's not cheating. Like if she was, I don't know, doing something else. I thought about using some of the lies that people suggested, but they just didn't make sense. So I decided to be honest. I basically just said that I knew we'd been thinking about marriage and she probably knew a proposal was coming soon. So I invited Justine over to help me find her perfect ring. And that just so happened to be the day that she said she was going to see her. So what's the deal? She immediately started grinning like an idiot and prodding me about proposing in the ring. Oh my gosh, she finds out that you're proposing, so she's immediately like elated. But like forgets that she's caught up in a lie. I'm dead. That's so me. I'd be like, tell me everything. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. But then we got back onto topic of where she was and she confessed what she was really doing. No, she wasn't cheating. And no, she wasn't picking out a ring for me. The amount of times that someone commented that was crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I need to look at the comments. So some people are dog people and some people are cat people. Well, me, I'm a snake person. Oh, I fucking hate snakes. I grew up with snakes my whole life, but I never felt I was able to get one because my girlfriend has always been uneasy about living with a snake. No fucking shit. Okay, sorry, Brenna, shut the fuck up. Which I completely respected. Also, the process of buying and raising a snake is very different than that of buying and raising a dog or cat. It's quite complicated, so you could imagine my surprise when my girlfriend showed me a picture of her holding the cutest Kenyan sand boa I have ever seen. Needless to say, my girlfriend was going to surprise me with a snake. Oh my God, this is actually the most wholesome thing I've ever heard. What the fuck? This isn't juicy. We're picking her up next week. I definitely did not expect this, and I feel bad for ruining the surprise, but oh well. Life is good. Sorry if this isn't the ending you wanted. Boo! No, I'm just kidding. But oh, what are the odds? Like, what are the actual odds that that happens at the same time? Damn. But it's a hilarious story that you will tell for the rest of your life. And like, thank God it didn't end in tragedy because, oh my goodness, if she was out cheating literally while you're picking her engagement ring, oh my gosh, that's so cute and sweet and fun and fresh. What the fuck? Okay, I have no comments. Good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Happy engagement. Why the fuck would you buy a snake though? Okay, I'm not going to judge. Next. Okay, I have 2 stories left. So I still picked 4 because I forgot about the write-ins, but we're moving right along. This one I feel like might be relatable and a little teaching moment. And then the last one is funny as fuck. And I can't wait to go through it. Okay. My 23 female boyfriend, 24 male, wants to move in with me. I want him to live alone first. Okay, let's begin. My boyfriend and I have been together for 10 months. He lives with his parents, 50s, male, female, and younger brothers, 10, 16, and 18, no sisters. Before current events, he was over at my place basically every night. A couple nights ago, he said that he wants to move in with me if I'm up for it. I've been to his place more than once and I've seen how their dynamic works. His mother does everything for all 5 men in that house. The cooking, the cleaning, the works. Oh my fucking God, of course she is because she's a wonderful woman. Basically, all they have to do is put their laundry away after she washes, dries, irons, and folds it. The reason the parents aren't forcing them to contribute is that this was the parents' agreement. He works, she stays at home, so she raises the kids, runs the household, and he pays for everything, with one of the clauses being that as she's doing everything, there's no need to involve the boys. You're setting the boys up for failure. That is the problem with this situation. You need to have these kids work and do chores and like learn how to do laundry and cook and clean. Like they are going to be grown adults one day. You doing everything for them is doing such a disservice for those kids, honestly. As a result, my boyfriend cannot do anything. Ding, ding, ding. Exactly what I just said. I don't know how much of this is actually cluelessness and how much is him trying to get out of stuff. But he has told me, completely sincere, and I checked this with his mother, that he can't even fry an egg, which is why when my boyfriend suggested moving in together, I said I wanted him to live alone first. His plan was basically to go straight from his mother's house to my flat. I told him my hesitation, which is that he can't do chores. He then offered to pay more rent, 75%, in exchange for me doing all the chores. I said no. I don't want to be his mother or his maid. I want to be his girlfriend. Okay, another. Which, if people have that arrangement, you can do that. Like, I would say, well, Carter pays all the rent. God bless you. I do most of the household chores, but like, I am here and I am working less than him. But like, if that's not what you want to do, then that's fine. Because when you live together, laundry is laundry. Like, cooking is cooking. Where Carter will, of course, if there's like, things in the dishes or we just get done feeding, he'll obviously clean them and put them in the dishwasher. Oh, I guess he also does the weekly deep clean. Oh, God bless Carter. Anywho, yeah, whatever the agreement is, that doesn't matter. One's not right or wrong. But wait, let me just say, I still think it's super important that your partner knows how to do these things because when you have children, like, having a partner that's just like choosing to not do anything and is incapable or is weaponizing, what is that called? Weaponized incompetence, where he's like, I don't know how. Okay, learn, big boy. You're fucking 24 years old. So I told him I wanted him to live alone, go from his mother's house to his own place, figure out how to do all the things he's never done for himself, learn some basic life skills, and then revisit us living together. This has caused a huge argument, biggest we've ever had. He's taken me saying he has no life skills as an insult, which it kind of is, to be fair. She said that, not me. And has basically said that clearly I don't want to live with him at all, as I've pushed back the moving in together time and have only said that we'd revisit after a few months of him living alone. And I did say revisit because I wanted to make sure he actually knew what he was doing and wouldn't immediately switch back to offering more rent for no chores. This was all a couple nights ago, and he's just stopped talking to me. He's at his mom's, he's online, he's talking to mutual friends who have said he is responding. He just won't answer any of my calls or texts. He's told our friends what happened, and they're all on his side, saying I was really mean slash cruel. Okay, well, they're fucking annoying. I love him and I do want to live with him eventually. I just don't want to live with him if I'm doing everything. And the one thing I don't want is him paying extra rent for me to do all the housework. Is there some sort of compromise or some option I'm not seeing? What can I do to fix this? I think you stand your motherfucking ground. I think the biggest red flag is he stopped talking to you and won't respond. That's odd to me. How do you just go silent to your girlfriend? They also have only been dating 10 months. They're 23 and 24. So like moving in together, even if this man lived on his own, is kind of early to begin with. Oh, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? I moved in with my partner after like 2 months. Okay, you have no room to breathe. However, I think she's 100% in the right. And I think if you're out there and you're dating, you need to think about this. Like, that's my partner. Carter lived by himself. He knows how to cook. He knows how to clean. He knows like better than I do. This man's like, you use this cleaning product and this. He knows how to laundry. He knows how to do the dishes. He knows all of these things. And he has, because number one, his parents set him up that way. His parents made him do everything, housework, the yard, like quite literally everything, because they wanted to raise an adult who could do things. And if you're a parent, I recommend you. It's one thing to be a stay at home mother and you take care of the children and the things, but once they are of age where they can help, you make them help. Hello, they're going to be adults one day and they need to know these basic life skills. I think she's so mature for her years. She's 23 years old, and to have seen that and know that, I think is amazing. And I think that if he loves you, and like, I could understand how at first that would be like jarring. And yeah, if somebody came to me and was like, you need to live by yourself because you don't know how to do anything, I would be offended, because anytime somebody points something out to us that isn't necessarily good, like that's kind of embarrassing that, yeah, he doesn't know basic life skills. I, could understand somebody immediately like being taking offense to that essentially. But after like reflecting and then thinking to yourself, like, oh, she's right. And if he just wants to be with you in general, and like, yeah, you're honestly doing him a favor. Like, if you guys break up, you're helping the next girl by telling him to do that, because he needs to learn. Shame on his parents. And again, I get it. It's easy to sit in parent shame as I'm a fucking 27-year-old with no kid, but like, yeah, what did you expect? I guess some people maybe are old school and they just assume he'll marry someone with a woman who will take care of all of the things, which some women love that. Some women want to do that. That is fine, but that's not what we're talking about. She doesn't. And she doesn't want to be compensated to do more chores around the house, which again, those lines kind of blur because everything kind of becomes yours. Like, you don't have individual laundry. I guess you could if you really wanted, but that's crazy. You don't like individually eat at different times. So you're cooking and cleaning together. Like, it becomes things that you're already doing. Like, for me, really what I'm doing with Carter is just like a little bit more laundry. I'm cooking a bigger meal, but I would be doing those things for myself, by myself anyways, doing the dishes. So to me, it's like really not a big deal, but to each their own. I'm in favor of this woman. Good for her, and stand your motherfucking ground. Stand on business. I think this is great. And again, to the single women, take a note at how that man was raised and if he's only ever lived with roommates and what his apartment looks like. Because the first time I went to Carter's apartment, it was immaculate. And I'd been to a lot of guys' apartments before that are disgusting. They'd never cleaned a day in their life. And it's like, oh, just know, like, that's who you're going to live with and potentially marry. So take notes. Okay, next. Okay, you guys, the last story, and this one was killing me. I obviously like proofread through them to see if it's like something, unless it's a really grabbing title. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to know. Like that guy, which actually ended up being boring as fuck. His wholesome girlfriend bought him a fucking snake. Lame. But this one, the title, I was like, what? Like, you need to inquire further and you will die. This shit is so funny. Honestly, I don't know the right advice, but anyways, let's begin. Am I the asshole for being at my breaking point with my husband for his made up language? Here's the thing. My husband has always been a bit goofy, giving his own names to things and doing impressions, but about 18 months ago, this started to increase a lot. It's now a constant presence in our lives, and I'm finding it difficult to live with. For example, he has his own names for most retail outlets, professionals, and organizations. Like Walgreens is Eat Your Greens, and Barnes and Noble is Sharts and Gobbles. He also has about 30 to 40 everyday words that he insists on using in place of normal words. For example, yes is scuppers with a rising whistle at the end, or no is bing with a descending whistle, and good night is bagayay. He constantly does weird sound impersonations, not like celebrities or characters, but a single noise that's a made up sound or something childish like a fart from a children's TV show. He also speaks random words like garbage or douchebag while he burps or farts. He also has made up names for our friends, which he uses sometimes even under his breath when we're out with them. Pam and Will are Pig and Wig. It's funny because she's living my personal hell. Because what the fuck are you talking about? You literally call every single thing a different word or like jargon term. Oh my God. I've just had enough. We get into bed the other night and I said good night and he said bagayay in a high pitched voice he always does it in. I snapped and asked why he couldn't just speak to me normally and he just laughed and came right up close to my face and did it again. Oh my gosh, trauma for the first girl. His whistling is constant. He speaks to our kid in this stupid language, and I'm worried it's going to confuse normal language development because he changes the words so often. Our toddler could be about to hurt themselves, and instead of saying no or come here, he'll say some ridiculous made up word or sound and then get annoyed when our kid doesn't know what he wants. Oh my fucking God. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. It's one thing, it's already fucking annoying if it's just the two of you, but your child is around and he's literally just calling words not the right word. Yeah, that actually could be harmful. He's normal, in quotations, in other respects, works in finance, and is totally professional around his colleagues, but he's different at home. I told him it needs to stop. I don't mind it occasionally or for fun, but it's all the time and it's wearing me down. He got upset and said I couldn't take a joke and that I'm not fun anymore. It's true that I've become more irritable and noise averse since we had kids, but I'm so worn out and over it and just want him to relate to me like an adult. I get it, sister. That would annoy the fuck out of me. Oh my gosh, there's an edit and these ones are going to be good. Number 1, I do not believe, but I'm not health qualified, that he displays any symptoms of Tourette's, autism, neurological disorders, etc. Number 2, he is physically well by all measures. He is for sure not having a stroke or significant physical health event. I'm dead. People are genuinely concerned about him. Number 3, yes, I can see this could be a reaction to stress. Okay, but still it's valid. Number 4, for those asking why I married him, he did not do this to this extent before we had kids. Occasionally, yes, with the occasional name or words, but not this regular. He is amazing in many ways, but this one thing is now too much for me. I don't feel it's right to discount him or throw out the whole marriage because of it, but it does need to change. Number 5, he will not go to therapy. Number 6, we have discussed it calmly previously, but he did not take me seriously or make changes. He sees this as funny and just a joke, but yes, I agree that we need to talk about it more. And number 7, yes, it can be funny occasionally. I am not trying to spoil his fun, but I also need an adult partner at times and for him to stop when it's not appropriate. Yeah, here's the thing. That would get really fucking annoying really fast. And you just need to sit him down and be like, number 1, our children are going to be affected by this. Not if, but when. Like, literally, if he's using them so frequently, it is going to confuse them and they are going to start using them. And then that's fucking weird. And number two, it's annoying. And you had babies and it used to be funnier and now it's not. And it's been more frequent and you've just had enough. You just have to be honest. And he, as a grown man, can stop doing that. Like, it is not something that he needs to be doing. It is not something that like he can't stop. He's choosing not to stop. And you just need to be honest and say, hey, buddy, this is no longer funny. Every once in a while, when you're making a joke, pig and wig, what the fuck ever. But like literally saying goodnight to me and you're doing bagawaya, I don't know. It was Bagayaya. I don't know how the fuck you say that. But like, what are we talking about? We are grown adults. Start acting like it. I'm sorry, that would actually make me lose my mind. Oh my gosh, you guys, I went to the comments just to see what people were saying, and the top comment is, "We'll say bagaya yaya to that marriage." People are so funny. People on the internet are the worst or they're hilarious. Yeah, I think everybody's in agreement. Like, you asked him to stop and then he laughed and still did it again, like said it another time. That would push me over the edge. Again, I am not a physically abusive person. I've never hit or slapped anybody, but that would make me slap a man. I'd be like, shut the fuck up right now. Those are my final thoughts. Please let me know if you like this episode, how we're loving the pod. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I look forward to this every single week, 2 times a week. You guys are the best. Have the best week. And I will see you on Friday. Okay, guys. Bye.